Aristotle was born around 384 BC in the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedonia, where his father was a royal doctor. He grew up to be arguably the most influential philosopher ever, with the modest nicknames like the Master and simply the Philosopher. His first big job was tutoring Alexander the Great, who soon after went out and conquered the known world. Aristotle then headed off to Athens, worked with Plato for a bit, then branched out on his own. He founded a little school called Lyceum, French secondary school. The Lycees are named in the honor of his venture. He liked to walk about while teaching and discussing ideas. His followers were nicknamed Peripatetics, the wanderers. His many books are actually lecture notes. Aristotle was fascinated by how things actually work. How does a chick grow in an egg? How do squid reproduce? Why does a plant grow well in one place and hardly at all in another? And most importantly, what makes a human life and a whole society go well? For Aristotle, philosophy was about a practical wisdom. Here are 4 big philosophies questions he answered. 1. What makes people happy? In Nicomachean Ethics, the book got its name because it was edited by his son Nicomachus. Aristotle set himself the task of identifying the factors that lead people to have a good life or not. He suggested that good and successful people all possess distinct virtues and proposed that we should get better at identifying what these are so that we can nurture them in ourselves and honor them in others. Aristotle zeroed in on 11 virtues, which are courage, temperance, liberty, magnificence, magnanimity, pride, patience, truthfulness, wittiness, friendliness, modesty. Aristotle also observed that every virtue seems to be bang in the middle of 2 voices. It occupies what he termed the golden mean. According to Aristotle, some people go wrong because they lack a subtle sense of humor. That's the bore. Someone useless for any kind of social intercourse because he contributes nothing and takes offense at everything. But others carry humor to excess. The buffoon cannot resist a joke, sparing neither himself nor anybody else, provided that he can raise a laugh in saying things that a man of taste would never dream of saying. So the virtuous persons in his golden mean in this area, witty but tactful. A particularly fascinating moment is when Aristotle draws up a table of too little, too much, and just right around the whole host of virtues. We can't change our behavior in any of these areas, just at the drop of a hat. But change is possible. Eventually, moral goodness, says Aristotle, is the result of habit. It takes time, practice, encouragement. So Aristotle thinks people who lack virtue should be understood as unfortunate rather than wicked. What they need is not scolding or being thrown in the prison, but better teachers and more guidance. Number 2, what is art for? The blockbuster art at that time was tragedy. Athenians watched gory plays at the community festivals in huge open theaters. Aristotle wrote a How to Write Great Plays manual, the Poetics. This was packed with great tips. For example, make sure to use peripathy, a change in fortune when for the hero things go from great to awful, like in Titanic, and anagnorisis, a moment of dramatic revelation when suddenly the hero works out their life in catastrophe. But what is tragedy actually for? What is the point of a whole community coming together to watch horrible things happening to the lead characters? Aristotle's answer is catharsis, which is Greek for catharsis. Catharsis is kind of cleaning. You get rid of the bad stuff. In this case, cleaning up our emotions specifically for confusions around the feelings of fear and pity. The task of art, Aristotle saw it, is to make profound truths about life stick in our minds. Number 3, what are friends for? In Book 8 and 9 of Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle identifies 3 different kinds of friendship. There's a friendship that comes about when each person is seeking fun. Then there are friendships that are actually strategic acquaintances, which take pleasure in each other's company only insofar they have hopes of advantage to it. And then there is the true friendship. Not someone who's just like you, but someone who isn't you, about whom you care as much as you about yourself. The sorrows of a true friend are your sorrows too, their joys, your joys. Like a lot of people, Aristotle was struck by the fact that the best argument doesn't always win the debate of the battle. He wanted to know why this happens and what we can do about it. He had lots of opportunity for observations. In Athens, lots of decisions were made in public meetings. Orators would vie with one another to sway popular opinion. Aristotle plotted the ways audience and individuals are influenced by many factors that don't strictly engage with logic or the facts of the case. It's maddening, and many serious people, especially Plato, cannot stand it. They avoid the marketplaces and the populist debates. Aristotle was more ambitious. He invented the art that we still call today rhetoric. The art of getting people to agree with you. He wanted thoughtful, serious, and well-intentioned people to learn how to recognize, acknowledge, and soothe people's fear. We are keen students of Aristotle. Today, philosophy does not sound like the most practical activity. Maybe that's because we've not paid enough attention recently to Aristotle.